Scary movie series or horror franchises are a collection of related horror films often centered around a recurring antagonist, theme, or universe. These series allow filmmakers to explore evolving storylines, deepen character backstories, and introduce new terrors, all while maintaining the elements that fans love. The success of a horror movie series depends on its ability to sustain suspense, build on past films, and keep audiences invested in ongoing mysteries and scares.
This time, I would like to share about Scary Movie series.
Scary Movie. Scary Movie is a 2000 American slasher parody film directed by Keenen Ivory Wayans and written by Marlon and Sean Wayans alongside Buddy Johnson, Phil Bowman, Jason Friedberg, and Aaron Seltzer. Starring John Abrahams and others, it follows a group of teenagers who accidentally hit a man with their car, dump his body in a lake, and swear to secrecy. A year later, someone wearing a Ghostface mask and robe begins hunting them one by one. The film is a parody of multiple genres including the horror, slasher, and mystery film genres. Several 1990s films and TV shows are also spoofed, and the script primarily follows the plot of the slasher film Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. On Halloween night, Drew Decker receives a threatening phone call while home alone. Chased outside by somebody dressed as Ghostface, she is stripped to her bra and panties before being stabbed in the breast, removing one of her silicone implants. Her father, who is distracted by receiving fellatio, accidentally hits her with his vehicle, and she looks at her murderer just before she is fatally stabbed. Cindy Campbell meets up with her boyfriend Bobby Prinz and her friends, Brenda Meeks, Ray Wilkins, Greg Philippi, Buffy Gilmore, and Brenda's stoner brother Shorty. News teams, including hack reporter Gail Hailstorm, converge on the school because of Drew's murder. Gail seduces Buffy's intellectually disabled brother, Special Officer Doofy, to elicit information from him. Scary Movie 2. Scary Movie 2 is a 2001 American supernatural parody film directed by Keenen Ivory Wayans. It is the sequel to Scary Movie and the second film in the Scary Movie film series. The film stars Anna Faris, Regina Hall, Sean Wayans and Marlon Wayans, as well as Tim Curry, Tori Spelling, Chris Elliott, Chris Masterson, and others. The film was the last in the series to feature the involvement of stars Marlon and Sean Wayans and director Keenen until the upcoming sixth installment. Marlon would eventually go on to produce a similar horror-themed parody, A Haunted House, and its sequel, both starring himself. In the latter film, Wayans pokes fun at the Scary Movie series' decline in quality after his family's departure. Scary Movie 2 was commercially successful, grossing $141.2 million worldwide from a $45 million budget, but received largely negative reviews from critics. A sequel was released in 2003. At the Haunted Mansion Hell House, teenager Megan Voorhees becomes possessed by the spirit of Hugh Kane, the house's cruel, wicked previous owner. She interrupts a formal dinner party, thrown by her mother, who seeks help from two priests, Fathers McFeely and Harris. After an unsuccessful attempt to exorcise Kane's ghost, McFeely pulls a gun and shoots Megan. 1 year later, Cindy Campbell, Brenda Meeks, Ray Wilkins, and Shorty Meeks are at college, trying to live new lives after surviving the events of the first film. Cindy and Brenda are tagged by socially maladjusted Alex. Shorty is still the same stoner he was before. Ray, still confused about his sexuality, has two new male friends, Tommy and Buddy, the latter of whom becomes romantically interested in Cindy. She rebuffs him but agrees to be friends. The sinister Professor Oldman and his charming paraplegic assistant Dwight Hartman plan to study the paranormal activity at Hell House. They recruit Cindy and her friends as test subjects under the pretense of a psychological experiment on sleep paralysis. Scary Movie 3. Scary Movie 3 is a 2003 American parody film directed by David Zucker. It is the sequel to Scary Movie 2 and is the third film in the Scary Movie film series. The film parodies the horror, sci-fi, and mystery genres. The film stars Anna Faris and Regina Hall, reprising their roles as Cindy Campbell and Brenda Meeks, respectively. New cast members include Charlie Sheen, Simon Rex, Anthony Anderson, Kevin Hart, and Leslie Nielsen. It is the first film in the series to feature no involvement from the Wayans family. The characters of Ray Wilkins and Shorty Meeks, previously played by Sean and Marlon Wayans respectively, do not appear, nor are they referenced. Two women discuss a cursed videotape that kills anyone who watches it in 7 days. Having both watched it, an unseen entity kills them. Meanwhile, on a farm outside Washington, widowed pastor Tom Logan and his brother George discover Tom's daughter Sue screaming in the middle of a crop circle. Reporter Cindy Campbell discusses the crop circles on the news, but it is largely ignored. She cares for her nephew Cody, who has precognition powers. While picking him up from school, Cindy meets George, who invites her and Brenda Meeks to a rap battle. With support from his friends Mahalik and CJ, George beats Fat Joe but is thrown out after unintentionally wearing a pointy white hood and waves to the largely African-American crowd. Brenda tells Cindy about the cursed videotape she watched and asks her to keep her company. After playing several pranks on Cindy, the girl from the tape, Tabitha kills Brenda. George receives a phone call about Brenda's death, and Tom meets with Sayaman, who apologizes for killing Tom's wife in a car accident. Scary Movie 4. Scary Movie 4 is a 2006 American parody film directed by David Zucker, written by Jim Abrahams, Craig Mazin and Pat Proft, and produced by Mazin and Robert K. Weiss. It is the sequel to Scary Movie 3 and the fourth installment in the Scary Movie film series, as well as the first film in the franchise to be released by the Weinstein Company, following the purchase of Dimension Films from Miramax Films. The film marks the final franchise appearances of the main stars, Ferris and Hall, and concludes the original story arc. This was initially intended to be the final film in the Scary Movie film series, until Scary Movie 5 was released in 2013. The film grossed $178 million on a $40 million budget, becoming the third highest grossing film in the series. Shaquille O'Neal and Dr. Phil wake up to find themselves chained to pipes in a bathroom. A villainous puppet appears on a television screen and reveals that the room is slowly filling with nerve gas. In order to escape, Shaquille must shoot a basket to obtain 2 hacksaws, which Dr. Phil realizes are intended for their feet. However, Dr. Phil saws off the wrong foot and faints, leaving both to die. Meanwhile, Cindy Campbell visits her brother-in-law, Tom Logan, in New York City. Her husband, George, has died, and her nephew, Cody, is enrolled in a military academy, leaving her heartbroken and lonely. Tom's attempted suicide results in his ingesting Viagra, which greatly swells his penis and causes his death when he falls off the railing. Over the following day, Cindy bonds with Tom, confiding to him about George's death in a fateful boxing match. They both realize their newfound love, but are interrupted by a gigantic tripod which disables the city's electricity and starts vaporizing the town residents. An epilogue set 1 month afterwards, narrated by James Earl Jones, who is subsequently hit by a bus, reveals Brenda's giving birth to her child, with Zoltar, Mahalik and CJ resuming their relationship, and President Harris being content with his duck. Scary Movie 5. Scary Movie 5 is a 2013 American parody film directed by Malcolm D. Lee, written by David Zucker and Pat Proft, and produced by Zucker and Phil Dornfeld. It is the standalone sequel to Scary Movie 4 and the 5th installment in the Scary Movie film series. It is the second and last film in the series to be distributed by the Weinstein Company, as well as the only one not to involve Miramax Films. The film is the only installment of the franchise not to feature Cindy Campbell or Brenda Meeks. It premiered on April 11th at the Hollywood's ArcLight Cinerama Dome. The film parodies various horror films and other popular culture. Scary Movie 5 was released on April 2013. The film received negative reviews from critics, with a gross of $78.4 million against a $20 million budget. It is the lowest grossing film in the Scary Movie series, despite being a box office success. A sequel, Scary Movie 6, is in development with the Wayans brothers' involvement after 18 years. Charlie Sheen and Lindsay Lohan get together to make a sex tape with over 20 cameras in his room. They do all sorts of bedroom antics, including gymnastics, riding a horse, and having clowns jump in. Sheen is pulled into the air by a paranormal force and thrown against walls, shelves, and doors until he lands on the bed again. Frightened Lohan decides to go home when she also flies into the air. Becoming possessed, she throws Sheen into the camera, killing him. The text explains that Sheen's body was found that day, but he did not stop partying until days later, and that his 3 children were found missing. Lohan was arrested, again, and a reward was put out for the missing kids. Several months later, Jamarcus and DeAndre are walking in the Humboldt County woods in California, searching for cannabis to steal. Afterwards, they hide in a cabin in the woods. Inside, they see 3 strange creatures, later confirmed to be Sheen's children, and turn them in for the reward. The feral children are placed in isolation at a child development research center for a few months until they are deemed well enough to be returned to familial custody.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest movie recommendations. Check out these videos on the screen for more great films to explore. See you in the next one.